I see a lot of movies, and every once in a while I will see a film that takes me by such surprise that I have to do my part to get the word out to tell you either how horrible or how amazing that movie is. And I have another one on my hands here. I'm late to the game, but I want to talk to you about K-pop Demon Hunters. What's up, fam? Welcome back to the garage. Gerald here with you, of course. Another movie review today for the new Netflix original Sony animation production called K-pop Demon Hunters. Before we get there, I want to let everybody know if you subscribe to this channel, you will be entered into my monthly drawing. At the beginning of every new month, I'm going to literally just draw one random subscriber's name out to win a digital code for a new release. This month, it is for Sinners from Ryan Coogler. Right there you see the 4K Blu-ray, courtesy of Warner Brothers. Thank you guys so much. Once again, all you have to do is subscribe. At the end of the month, I'll draw a name. It could be yours, and you will get the digital code to this bad boy. That could be a future Oscar winner. I think so. Members to the channel get triple entries. So if you want to join the channel, just click join below, and you can watch a little intro video and see what all the perks are. We would love to have you over here to join the rest of the garage executives. But make sure you subscribe so you can be in this month's drawing for Sinners. Let's get into today's review. When K-pop superstars Rumi, Mira, and Zoe aren't selling out stadiums, they're using their secret powers to protect their fans from supernatural threats. Even after all the suggestions, great reviews, little clips I see on Twitter, this, that, Netflix suggesting it to me, I just kind of let it fall through the cracks. And then when I decided to throw it on a random Saturday afternoon in this case, it blew me away. Especially if you're talking about in terms of this year's animated films. This is the best one that we have gotten so far. The film was co-directed by Maggie Kang and, of course, Chris Appelhans. The reason I think that's interesting is because the style that we get here in Demon Hunters. It is very anime inspired, but it also has a lot of the 2D, 3D Sony animation that you would be used to in films like the Spider-Verse movies, or even a film that came out a few years ago called The Mitchells versus the Machines. Very Lord Miller-esque in its style, where it feels like it's a bit of hand-drawn old school animation mixed with some edgy, poppy digital animation, which basically it is. This is a very colorful film, full of energy, full of thrilling scenes and music. I am not a K-pop fan. I do like pop music. A lot of my friends make fun of me for being the oldest Swiftie on earth, but there are some great original songs in here. I read that there are 7 new songs that were made for the movie. Netflix did release this theatrically for 2 weeks, and they did that thing that I hate they do when it comes to covering award season, where Netflix literally just puts a movie in one of its own theaters for at least a week so that it will be eligible for the Academy Awards. I hate when they do that. I would much rather them just promote the theatrical experience. Because one thing about K-pop Demon Hunters, if you love the Disney modern era digital animated films that kind of try to bring in hip, youthful storylines, thinking of a movie like Turning Red, for example, how there was a boy band in that movie that she was kind of pining over, and we got to hear a lot of those songs in that film. And then it also borrowed from the lore of her home country and tied that into the whole story of her turning into the Red Panda. This is in that style, but done 100 times better, and I actually like Turning Red, so that's not a negative on that film. That's just an extreme positive on this film. So I think it would have done really, really well at the box office, especially among families that need something to go see right now, since most people have already seen, the Lilo and Stitches and How to Train Your Dragons of the world. There's another family film window right now that's not being utilized, and Netflix should have jumped on that. When it comes to those songs, and the reason that I pointed out that Netflix released this to be eligible for the Academy Awards, is I think we have a strong player for original song at next year's Oscars, which would be a song called Golden, which is performed by the fictional group Huntrix in the movie, which is the 3 main Demon Hunter ladies that I mentioned in my synopsis. This is a spoiler-free review, so I'm going to keep it super basic in terms of the plot and what happens in the movie. But the general setup is these 3 girls have an extremely popular girl K-pop group that has taken the world by storm, and what the world or their fans don't realize is that their voices have been chosen by their ancestors to basically protect the realm, what they call the Han Moon, which protects them essentially from evil or from demons. And as long as they keep their voices intact and they keep lifting up the joy and the happiness that they spread in all their shows. The Hanmoon is protected, and the demons cannot get in to penetrate the general audiences, which is essentially their fans. However, when some demons get the idea to create their own K-pop group, we get a rival boy band in the movie that its members are demons, and they enter based on the success of their band, and they're going viral on TikTok and etc. But it creates a great storyline and a wonderful give and take that we get in this movie, because a lot of our antagonists, without giving anything away, are sympathetic at times and they're extremely detestable at times. And then our protagonists, you're pulling for the majority of the film, but you also go, stop making dumb choices. Like, because of your kind of naivety, that's the reason why XYZ happened. Just come clean, just be honest, just do the right thing, essentially. Which, of course, I understand is easier said than done, which makes for a great, like, shaking your fist at the TV as you're watching the movie. And it all comes to a beautiful climax, essentially like defeating the big boss or the big battle at the end of the movie in the last act of the film, which is all centered around music. It's like a music competition. Surprisingly, for me to say this is currently in my top 5 films of the year. I always get a little perturbed when Netflix hits a home run, or in this case, a grand slam, because I'm like, guys, we're not championing the theatrical experience. Netflix, I mean. And they've got Frankenstein on the horizon from Guillermo del Toro. They have other huge players that I'm crazy looking forward to this year, like Jay Kelly from Noah Baumbach, the new Knives Out film, Wake Up Dead Man. There's a lot on the Netflix docket for this year, and my fear is, like K-pop Demon Hunters, we just won't get a lot of those in cinemas, at least in my market. So in summary, this movie is Blackpink meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It has eye-popping animation. There's a ton of bops on this soundtrack. This might be my favorite album of 2025 so far. I mean, it's like literally greatest hits after greatest hits in this thing. There's a great story of friendship in the movie, a through line, also battling with your inner demons, and then kind of a mild introduction into the world of K-pop. Like I said, I didn't know anything about it. My son is somewhat familiar with it, and he said it was a great representation, although it was kind of Americanized in this version. So, you know, if that's going to bother you and you're like deep into the K-pop lore, you might not really be turned on them by this film, because it does throw like an American twist on that classic K-pop style of music, and I guess of pop culture in general. I would say it's probably the most pleasant surprise for me so far this year. I just didn't expect to like this thing as much as I did. It is going to get a 9 out of 10 for me. Like I said, it sits in the top 5 of 2025 so far. Check it out on Netflix if you're into it. That is it for this movie review, guys. What did you think of K-pop Demon Hunters? Have you seen it? Let me know down below. Are you intrigued to see it based on my review? And are you going to check it out? Let me know that also. Don't forget to subscribe so you can be entered to win your digital code for Sinners this month. And next month it'll be a new movie. I'm going to do it every month, so maybe you're going to win at some point. I've only got 4,000 names to go through. Your time is coming. Just keep the public subscriptions on. You'll be fine. I'll see you guys out here next time in the garage.